system.
How you doing?
Getting beat up by 9 guys in Syracuse, to me, there's not a whole lot of shame in.
This is the Heel to the Face podcast with your hosts, Jared Wicks and Brandon Icebreaker Clements. Tweet us using the handle at Heel to the Face.
Woo! 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 Woo!
The bell is rung, so let's step in the ring with your hosts, Brandon and Jared.
This is the Heel to the Face podcast. We're going into Fastlane. It is countdown to WrestleMania. What are we, like 30 days away now, the final pay-per-view?
Yeah, close.
Stop before WrestleMania this upcoming week in Cleveland. It's Brandon Icebreaker Clements to my right. If you're watching on Twitter, you can find him on Twitter, or if you're watching on YouTube, not on Twitter. If you're on Twitter, though, find him at Icebreaker21. Find myself at KRock Jared. That's where you can find me on Twitter. Most importantly, follow the program at Heel to the Face. That's where everything you need to know is on Twitter for the program. So without further ado, let's get this week's edition of the show underway.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
With a 20-minute time limit.
So I think I should know the SmackDown results pretty well because I went to not just one, but 2 SmackDown shows, if you count the house show I went to on Sunday night.
Yes.
It was a SmackDown show. But I just want to throw this out there. This is something out there for WWE. And if you don't know, if you haven't attended a lot of shows, maybe I'm going to give you some information out there. So I went to a SmackDown about 2 years ago in Rochester, New York. And that taught me to what I was going to expect at this SmackDown, as that, one, no one stays for 205 Live. So they've got to figure something out there because it's 2 years later and it doesn't matter. There is music playing. There are people coming to the ring. I think at the 205 Live that I went to before, that was still in the pyro days. So I want to say there was even pyro going off, and yet people were acting like they said the first person out the door gets $100. I mean, it was hard. It was hard to watch 205 Live because there were so many people in the lanes leaving, blocking my view. They were like crowding to leave. Like, it wasn't just people leaving. It was like...
So this happened this week?
Yes.
Oof.
Okay. But that happened in Rochester. That's a thing. So WWE, 2 years later, I guess you haven't figured it out yet with 205 Live.
I know what you do.
To get people to stay.
You advertise, a start time, and you have 205 start in the beginning before Raw starts.
Or before SmackDown starts.
SmackDown, sorry.
Yeah.
Before SmackDown starts.
Yeah, because there are more people. There are more people trying to get in the door of a wrestling event.
Are they still doing superstars or no?
I think they didn't have any match. They had a match with Sanity before SmackDown, but it was a complete dark match. It wasn't a TV. So yeah, there are more people trying to get in shows when the doors open than there were. Like, if they would have had this happen before.
See, Raw does it. If I remember correctly, I went to Raw in Buffalo a couple years ago, and I feel like it was like Superstars was like
main event or Superstars.
Yeah, whatever the hell it was. It's forgettable. Yes. Yeah, but
and
I
there's
think
more
they
people there.
Before.
There's more. I can say this much: if they would have taped 205 Live at 7:30, there would have been more people there at 7:30 than there were at 10 o'clock.
Well, yeah, even if like advertise, open the doors at 7.
Yeah.
And
I mean, because even if you go to a house show, wrestling fans are nuts. They're waiting out the door to get in as soon as they can get in. I don't know why, but they want to get in. So believe me, there'd be a bigger crowd if it was before.
Yeah,
but that's actually not the point I'm trying to make here. That seems to be just something that WWE can't fix even 2 years later. When I went to SmackDown, because SmackDown's a shorter show, you don't get to see everybody. And as a tease to kind of get maybe some people to stay for 205 Live, what they did is they advertised another match. So when I went to Rochester, Randy Orton only had a backstage segment. He wasn't on TV at all. So for what we all knew in Rochester, he wasn't even there. It might have been pre-taped. And there's probably parents out there who are quite angry that they pay to go see their kid to take him to see Randy Orton or whoever, and they're not there. So they advertised that Randy Orton would actually be wrestling a match once 205 Live ended. They advertised it all night. Every commercial break, they wanted to remind you that tonight, Rochester exclusive, Randy Orton, Jinder Mahal go one-on-one tonight. Stay tuned all night. Didn't do that this time, though. Did not do that this time. And even a hardened fan like myself, when the 205 Live ended, I was like, and I already had what the match would be because Randy Orton and AJ Styles had a backstage feud on SmackDown leading up to what could be a WrestleMania match. That a backstage feud on SmackDown, but again, never appeared. So if you're a fan of wrestling and you go to and you take your kid and they're a big AJ Styles or Randy Orton fan and they don't appear, you're kind of mad. So
yeah, absolutely.
Because I had really nothing better to do, I stuck around. But even after 205 Live ended, some of the hardened wrestling fans were even taking off. We're like, all right, 205 Live's over. What else you got for us? Randy Orton music hit. AJ Styles music hit. They have a match after 205 Live's over. But the problem is they never said a word about it all night. So you had 50% of the people leave, if maybe 60% of the people leave after SmackDown was over. Then you had another 20% of those who stayed for 205 Live leave because, again, they're like, I guess.
So they wrestled in front of like what, 1,000 people?
I mean, Randy Orton was making jokes about how he was like doing the thing with his hand, like looking for people because there was nobody there. I mean, there was literally like 100 people there.
Jeez.
Yeah. And again, I'm not saying they would have got a huge crowd, but why would it have hurt maybe after SmackDown was over to announce that match was going to happen to get some people to stay? Because there was probably a lot of kids there who wanted to see Randy Orton and AJ Styles really bad.
Here's what you
who would
do.
have stuck around 40 minutes.
Here's
to
what
see
you
him.
do. And during commercial breaks for the television fans,
Yeah.
in the live audience, you say, "Hey, don't forget after we go off the air on TV, don't forget Randy Orton and AJ Styles. They're going to be here for your viewing pleasure."
And they did that.
Like
They did that in Rochester because Randy Orton. That's how I knew if there was a dark match. I knew who would be in it. It was the two people who weren't on television because they get paychecks to be there. So you might as well throw them out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, make them earn their money.
I paid to see Randy Orton. Randy Orton's getting paid to be there. There you go. That's who's going to be
Done deal.
wrestling.
Yeah.
Done deal. So I get that, but the fact that they never said a word about it.
Yeah,
so
that's
it's
not good.
WWE's fault that they wrestled in front of 100 people because
Which sucks, by the way,
Yeah.
because those are two marquee names.
yeah, that's a WrestleMania potential match. Randy Orton versus AJ Styles.
Yeah, I'm gonna wrestle in front of 57 fans.
Yeah, it was literally, I mean, I can say that AJ Styles has not wrestled in front of that little amount of people since, I would probably even say, indie wrestling has probably seen at least.
I was gonna say he got. I mean, there was more people at what 2CW.
Yeah, I mean it was pretty bad. But overall, let's start with SmackDown. That Fatal 4-Way Samoa Joe, new United States champion. I did not see that coming, but overall, a really good match.
I did. I saw it coming. That was too easy. That was too predictable for me. R-Truth.
He's been having an open challenge like every week. I had the feeling that he was finally going to get answered by John Cena, and that might have been like a WrestleMania match. John Cena, R-Truth.
Nah, as soon as I saw Samoa Joe, I was like, "Yep, that's your winner." I knew it right away. I was watching on the TV. You can ask my wife at home. She was like, "Oh."
I knew R-Truth wouldn't get pinned so that he can obviously have a pretty clean rematch whenever he wants it because he wasn't.
Yeah, but R-Truth's going to get destroyed by Samoa Joe again. So I'm glad. What the hell has taken so long for Samoa Joe to be a champion? Let's be real here. What's taken WWE so long to put a belt around his waist? I don't like. I mean, yeah, great. Better late than never. But shoot, he should have been a champion within the first 6 months he was on the main roster.
So now, do you enjoy the fact that now this obviously leads to the fact that many people are saying Samoa Joe versus John Cena WrestleMania? Would you like to see that? You got nothing for John Cena, and you got to have him there. They're in New York City.
I guess that's okay. I'm not opposed to it. I mean,
Is there anything better you got for John Cena that you would like to see him do?
Not at this point, no.
Yeah, I mean, he's not. That's why I thought it'd be R-Truth because R-Truth was always making the John Cena jokes every single week. So I thought
John Cena, it's your fault.
I thought it was going to be him calling John Cena answering the challenge one of these weeks. Or at least probably closer to WrestleMania, not in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, but somewhere closer to WrestleMania. But overall, great match. Rey Mysterio put on a good show. Rey Mysterio, who did not appear at the house show. Kevin Owens also did not appear at the house show. The New Day, they're in India, so they did not appear at the house show. So if you went to the house show, you got to see last year what should have probably been, if you were to ever make a WrestleMania main event, Charlotte versus Asuka. That was the house show main event in Syracuse. That should have
that's cool.
If you were going to main event a WrestleMania with a women's match, that should have been it last year, Charlotte versus Asuka. If you were going to, I know they're really pushing this year. Obviously, it looks like we're going to get the triple threat, Ronda, Charlotte, Becky. I personally think that Charlotte versus Asuka had more intrigue than the match you're going to actually make the first ever women's main event. You had Legacy Championship versus Streak. That's the problem I have with this women's main event for WrestleMania is you don't really have it's not the battle. It's not like Ultimate Warrior Hulk Hogan title for title. It's not Streak versus, like when Shawn Michaels, Streak versus Career. If you're going to make a women's match, if this is going to be the first ever main event of WrestleMania, it better be good. It better be champ versus champ, title for title, Streak versus Streak, Career versus Career. It better be the two biggest names. It better be Rock, Cena, Rock, Hogan, that kind of thing. It's not, this is just another women's match. It's going to be a good women's match. But if there wasn't all this talk about it being the first main event of WrestleMania, I would not say it deserves to be the main event. If you weren't telling me, if I already didn't know that they're going to try to make this the last match of the card, I wouldn't say it deserves to be.
Well, now back to SmackDown this week. What were your thoughts on? I have to ask you. What were your thoughts on Mandy Rose and Naomi? That match lasted like 45 seconds.
Well, it's a 2-hour show. Yeah, that's what you have.
What did you? I mean, is Naomi that bad now?
No, I think though you got to make Mandy Rose look a little good heading into the pay-per-view. She's going to take on Asuka for the belt.
Is this a punishment though for Naomi because of her incident with the
with the Usos?
Yeah, with the Uso incident with the drinking
I just
and stuff.
think I think it's just trying to make Mandy Rose look good. I mean, you can't.
Well, in Corey Graves' eyes, that's already a given. We already know that, but I'm sure he's excited about that.
You got to make her look good wrestling wise if she's going to take on Asuka, who 1 year ago was like the greatest thing in wrestling.
Well, let me ask you this: what do you think of? I enjoyed the Ricochet and Aleister Black match with the Bar. That was good.
Both their matches this week were good. They're going to be going for the tag belts on Raw again. Brandon, maybe you're right. I don't know what the hell's going on with NXT. Are these guys NXT guys? Are these guys called up?
They're up. Because
then why are we still billing them as NXT guys then?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's just putting NXT banner on TV.
That's why I don't really kind of get this. So
I don't have a good answer for you on that one. WWE is doing some interesting things. I mean, here's the thing. I will tell you this 110%. If they win the championships, which we'll get to that.
Well, then that answers the question.
We'll get to that in the next segment. But if they win, it's that question's already answered.
Well, two guys who are having a little trouble, I guess, getting called up, especially now going out with neck surgery. Tommaso Ciampa.
I know.
He's going to have to be vacating the NXT championship. It's official. He's going to be going out
because frickin' Velveteen Dream just won the North American Championship. Like, that's awful. Unless they make him, because he is the Dream. Maybe they have him hold on to both titles.
I feel that Adam Cole's probably going to take a lot of his spots.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's what they're doing right now with like some house shows.
Yeah, Adam Cole.
They're having Adam Cole take his spot in a lot of places,
which is fine. Adam Cole is probably.
But what a horrible time, and that's the same kind of surgery he's going to need. And Stone Cold already had a great career when he had that happen to him. Tommaso Ciampa, though, he's just getting called up, and if he's like Edge, if he's like Stone Cold, I mean, it's not really going to be the same when he comes back.
We'll see. I mean. Best of luck, I guess. It's an unfortunate injury, but he's got to get some things taken care of. Now, what were your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the whole Kevin Owens thing right now? So
strange wrestling right now. I guess going to that SmackDown, it's just strange because
he's a face.
Miz is a face. Kevin Owens is a face.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan's a heel. It's a bizarro world.
Yeah, I like this.
Kevin Owens and the Miz at the same show sticking up for the fans.
I know, what's up? I will say this: I like this Kevin Owens though. I like it. I think it's a good change for his character. I think he needed a change. I think it was well overdue.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I personally like the Daniel Bryan, so yeah. I mean, if I like the way Daniel Bryan's going, then why not Kevin Owens as well doing the other?
True. I mean, let's move over to Raw. What was your overall take on Raw? I mean, so we're getting the Shield back. I guess that was the big takeaway. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. That was pretty much a foregone. As soon as I knew this
for
last
the
week.
final time,
Yeah, and why even say to sell tickets? I guess that's why.
Well, yeah. That's why big bands. We've said this before. That's why big bands say, "Yeah, it's our farewell tour," and then you come back next year. That's just how it goes.
For the final time, they've tried getting them together even when we didn't want them back together. I mean, like 2 years ago when one of them got hurt and they threw Kurt Angle in there. Yeah, it's kind of showing you that, believe me, if there's money to be made, this will not be anywhere near the final time.
No, the only thing I'm really trying to figure out is this putting the pole in the wool over our eyes with Dean Ambrose. Like, is he actually leaving, or do we think this is just creative? I still think he's still. I think
it's all a work now.
Yeah, I do
I mean,
too.
now that all this is going on, I think it's a work. I think it was leading up to Triple H versus Dean Ambrose. Now that Batista's in WWE again, I think otherwise. I think Dean Ambrose will have a match at WrestleMania.
Do you think he turns back on the Shield again, and then it's like him versus Roman at WrestleMania?
No, because I still don't see Roman one-on-one at WrestleMania.
Why not?
Because I just feel that it's still too soon. I still see Roman Reigns in some sort of tag match at WrestleMania.
Let's see how he does the next couple weeks. I mean, he's already gotten physical already, and I wasn't expecting that to be that quick. Roman Reigns seems like he's in good enough shape where you still put him in a singles match, I would think. Now, here's my hot take on the Raw this past week. Tori Wilson? Really? Why is she in the Hall of Fame?
Got to put somebody in there.
No offense, but there's some other names I could come off the top of my head and say, why aren't they in it? Well, hey, honestly, I mean,
two in our Twitter question of the week, clearly.
Well, yeah, which we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a second.
Yes, I mean,
but I mean, for females, I mean, honestly, you're going to disagree with me on this, probably. Why isn't Stacy Keibler in?
Well, maybe she will be. I don't put anyone past being in the Hall of Fame. I'm at that point now. I've grown past the point of being shocked and in awe of anyone being in the WWE Hall of Fame. There's no rhyme or reason. If they made a T-shirt with your name on it in WWE, you're qualified to be in the Hall of Fame. Simply enough.
Who would you say is the next? I mean, if say we never heard about the Tori Wilson thing yet. Who would you project being the next female wrestler realistically in the business in the Hall of Fame?
Trying to Mickie James.
Maybe she's retiring and that's the way you get her out.
I mean,
maybe.
There was what? I guess Maria Kanellis. I mean,
nah, I wouldn't do Maria. No way. I wouldn't put her in.
You know who's not in? Again, this is one, but again, she's had a lot of issues. But if I'm not mistaken, she's not in. Sable.
Ooh. I don't think she's in.
And I don't think she is in. And I know she's had a lot of issues, like she's had like the China things where they've gone at odds with WWE. But the thing is, she's with Brock Lesnar now. So I don't know what odds she could possibly be right now with WWE to the point that I know she's probably not super happy with them or anything like that. But she's close enough.
Why wouldn't she be happy? Brock's collecting a paycheck and home all the time.
Yeah. So
just saying.
For that reason alone, that shows that, I mean, her anger towards WWE must not be too great that her spouse is currently partaking in it all the time. So, I don't know why not her.
Yeah, that's a good one actually. I like that one. Stacy Keibler. I always liked Stacy Keibler as a kid. So,
well, who's held the belt? Michelle McCool. She could be in. She's held the belt. She was Divas champion.
Yeah.
Why not her? What was that? Layla. Why not Layla?
Oh yeah, Layla. Yeah, the former. She was a dancer, I think it was.
Vicky Guerrero.
I like that one. Vicky Guerrero. That's not bad. I mean, I know it's
anybody that you can think of. It's not like who's deserving. It's anyone that you can think of. If you can think of them, if they were on television in WWE, they're probably deserving to be in the Hall of Fame, according to WWE.
Would you take those names, Sable, what would we say, Sable, Vicky Guerrero, Stacy Keibler, would you put any of those in over Tori Wilson?
Well, Sable, yes. Sable's a clear. I mean, if it was a real Hall of Fame, Sable would definitely deserve to be there. Okay. Even on Hall of Fame merits, Sable deserves to be in there. The other ones, I mean, we're really just splitting hairs. I think Tori Wilson maybe had a little bit more longevity than Michelle McCool or the other one I mentioned.
I think Vicky Guerrero.
Well, Vicky Guerrero might even deserve to be in there maybe a little bit more.
See, I've always been
Teddy Long's in there, so why not Vicky Guerrero?
I mean, Stacy Keibler, man, I'm telling you. I think she's getting in someday.
Oh, why not? Again, if Tori Wilson's in there, why not her?
I mean, hey, you might as well put some of the divas in there. I mean, why not throw Stephanie McMahon in there?
Well, I mean, I think she'll definitely be in there.
Yeah, I don't think it's anytime soon, realistically, but if they're trying to figure out, okay, who are we going to put in that's a big female name, and they're kind of in that lull where they've put in the Vicky Guerreros, they've put in the Sables, they put in the Stacy Keiblers. What better name than Stephanie McMahon, you know?
Oh, I think Stephanie McMahon will be there. Triple H will be there. Vince McMahon will be there. Shane McMahon will be there. They'll all be there.
I will say this. I don't think Vince gets in the Hall of Fame. I don't think Vince wants to be in the Hall of Fame.
Well, I think he'll get in after he's dead.
I think the year after
somebody will put him in.
I think the year after he passes, that'll happen.
Well, let's keep the Hall of Fame talk going, actually, right to our Twitter question of the week. So if you didn't see this, you've probably been living under a rock, and that is your WrestleMania 2 main event superstar, King Kong Bundy. And now that makes every single opponent that Hulk Hogan faced all the way up to WrestleMania 7 dead. And now we got King Kong Bundy to add to the list from Andre the Giant, Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, the whole 9 yards. He has passed away, and oddly enough, and I was actually kind of surprised, and I noticed, I'm like, I don't remember him going in the Hall of Fame. So I double checked, and yes, King Kong Bundy not in the Hall of Fame, just like Vader, who has also passed away pretty recently. He's not in the Hall of Fame. So the question I posed this week for our Twitter question of the week was the bigger WWE oversight, not putting in Vader or King Kong Bundy into the WWE Hall of Fame while they were still alive. At 83%, I got to agree with them, Vader. And we're not comparing and who's better. I think my King Kong Bundy might actually have a little more name, a name at the household name.
Yes.
But Vader, 83% to 17%. And I think the real reason why people might have voted that, and the reason I agree with them, is because of the fact that you knew he was sick. You knew that his health was declining.
Yeah.
So they needed to get him in sooner rather than later.
Yeah, King Kong
Bundy
Bundy
was a little more surprised.
Yeah, that caught a lot of people off guard.
Yeah.
I mean, he was only 61.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we knew Vader his health was deteriorating. So I think the way we're asking that question, I guess, would be
why is WWE not putting in more people that are past? For example, why is Edge, Eddie Guerrero, Stone Cold Steve Austin, why are all these guys in the WWE Hall of Fame now? And King Kong Bundy and Vader are not. That's not how Hall of Fames are supposed to be. You don't put him in, for example, Batista, if he says after WrestleMania he's retired, I don't want to see him in the Hall of Fame next year. That's what they did with Edge. He was in the Hall of Fame the year after he retired. What's the rush? I mean, yeah, he wasn't going to wrestle anymore, but you could have been putting in Vader or King Kong Bundy in that time.
Yeah, I mean, I think they should have some sort of rules where it's 3 years after they retire.
I don't necessarily think there needs to be rules.
I think I think there should be some stipulations. I don't like the fact that you retired. Oh yeah, all right, you're in the Hall of Fame. I don't like that because baseball you don't do that. Well, football you don't do that.
No regular sports do they do that. But
I mean, this is not this is sports entertainment, so it's a little bit different.
But I'm just saying again, now we have people like Vader and King Kong Bundy and China who have passed away. But good thing we have Edge in the Hall of Fame. Edge, who's 40.
I know he's
you know what I mean?
He's his early 40s now, yeah.
And I kind of maybe get Stone Cold, but you could have still waited off on him. There's no rush on him. Anybody who's even close to have competed recently, like I said, Torrie Wilson's a great example. What are we rushing in Torrie Wilson for?
True.
I think maybe because the longer you wait, the more that she becomes more irrelevant because she's so undeserving of being in the Hall of Fame that you better get her in while at least you know who she is.
Well, here's the thing too, and I take this the wrong way as you may, but WWE wants to sell tickets and have a little sex appeal. Torrie still looks good. Why would you want to bring her in later when maybe she looks older and doesn't look as good?
And I think the whole women's evolution thing is a thing. You got to have a woman, especially the fact that she was just in the Royal Rumble and all that other nonsense. So I kind of get that, but I'm just saying them putting in people, Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler, they're both in the Hall of Fame. They were both in the Hall of Fame at WrestleMania 23 when they were still calling WrestleMania 23. They were still the full-time announce team, and they put them in at the same time.
So let's do this then. Let's put Michael Cole in.
I mean, why not?
I think he deserves it. I think he's done a hell of a job all these years. I've watched Michael Cole since I was a kid, and he's done a hell of a job. And I actually was speaking of Michael Cole real quick. I was reading online that he's looking to maybe leave the booth, so to speak.
That's Corey Graves his role is definitely increasing. I'll say that much.
I mean, well, I don't think it's because of Corey Graves. I think it's because of what the heck's the kid's name on SmackDown?
Tom Phillips.
Tom
Phillips is good.
Yeah, I think Phillips does a good job. I think he does a stand-up job. I think Phillips is going to be sliding over to Raw.
I think Michael Cole definitely doesn't get as much credit as he deserves.
No, he's an unsung hero in my book, and people forget that he's also a backstage producer for WWE too.
Yeah, I mean that's similar to what Jim Ross was back in the day and everything.
Yeah, I didn't realize this. I was looking all over the social media. I didn't know WWE and Jim Ross were still a thing.
Yeah. Oh, are they? He's still hanging?
Yeah. On my Twitter.
I didn't know they were either.
On my Twitter account, the first thing that pops up literally says Jim Ross confirms plans to leave WWE. I thought he was gone already.
Yeah, I didn't know he was anywhere.
I guess his contract expires at the end of March. I didn't.
What is he doing? What is he doing there? Other than coming out as a special guest 2 years ago to commentate a match.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was working with New Japan.
I thought he was home just hanging out, right? Doing radio interviews, stuff like that.
I guess he's still part of WWE.
I wonder. I was kind of curious if Steve Carino is a producer for WWE. I saw him the other day, but then I saw his son was a jobber and lost to Mike Canales at 205 Live. I think Chris Carino that was his name. So I don't know if he necessarily was there because he's a producer or he was just there in a suit because his kid was wrestling in 205 Live. But either way, that was kind of interesting. Steve Carino.
Yeah, that's another name. Yeah.
Another ECW name. I don't know if he's a Hall of Fame worthy, but he's probably more than Torrie Wilson. But that's a story for another day. I do want to add this question, not question, but just throw this out there real quick. WrestleMania next year, Tampa. What's your initial thoughts?
I think it's great.
I know a lot of people are angry because Florida gets a lot of WrestleManias, but you know what? It's a new city. I know Florida gets a few of them, but a brand new city. They've never been in Tampa before. They're not going to New Orleans again. They're not going to New York. They're not going back to San Fran.
Yeah, they're gonna be having the WrestleMania at where the Bucks play. So that's cool.
And I have to say this much: I did that WrestleMania special, I think last year, where I said 10 places that should have a WrestleMania that never have, and that was definitely one of them, very high on the list. And one big thing I liked about it, if you saw the logo, it's like the Tampa Bay Bucks logo, and they're incorporating the whole pirate theme in there. So it looks great.
Cool. That should be cool.
It's got the old pirate flag, like the whole 9 yards. So it looks different, looks unique. And one thing about WWE is if it's different and unique, you got to love it because we don't really get to see that as much as we used to.
True.
Everything's pretty cut and dry the way with WWE. But a new city, a new location, a new looking logo. Something to look forward to for WrestleMania next year. But WrestleMania this year is still on the horizon. And when we get back on the podcast side of this, we are going to break down Fastlane. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to find the Fastlane video where we give our Fastlane predictions. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you find Icebreaker21 and myself at KRockJared on Twitter. And don't forget to follow the program at Heel to